Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Dale's Rails. I put together a series of videos on some projects I've completed on my models, and I thought I'd share those with you. It involves some scratch building, some small parts, and products I use and painting techniques that I use to paint them. And as always, there'll be a run session at the end, so grab a seat, sit back, and I hope you will enjoy. Well, I got a little project here. Kind of been putting this off for a while. I've had this evergreen styrene for quite a while. I actually bought it for another project. And I'm just going to show you how I'm making my shades or visors on here. You know, this Alco C420 here, I've got two of these models, and both of them only had one visor on there, or sunshade, whatever you want to call this. And that would go on there like that. Hopefully that's showing up without my fingers being in the way. So that would go on there like that. And, I haven't even looked to see if, you can buy these. I doubt you can. So I just figured I'm going to make my own. This is a little bit more of a challenge than just cutting this out of a piece of a styrene. As you can see here, this axis on this straight piece here is flat, and then this visor comes out. So what I've done here is I've cut these pieces just out of some 20 thou evergreen styrene that I had, already. And then I bought this stuff here for a different project. I'm going to scratch build my own utility poles. And this is just item 240 half round, 40 thou half round. They're pretty small. So it worked pretty good. I just able to take some of the 20 thou and cut it into a strip. That's to match this top portion here of the visor. And when I get done, I will be just taking this piece here, and I'll be using this as a template. And it's good to have a pair of these reverse tweezers to hold things for you, because this is pretty small stuff. Just to hold it, to actually glue it up. So I'm just going to take this piece here. I've already cut them up. Kind of hard to see on this. You guys, it's pretty small. This piece here will end up going on top of this piece here. And then I just take and hold it together, with my reverse tweezers here, just to position it in place for me, and clamp it to kind of hold it. And I don't know if it shows up. It's probably kind of hard to show up on here. Hopefully this will focus, but you can look at this piece. You got this half round on top of this flat piece, and it gives me this edge in here. Is what I'm going to need so I can actually take the visor, and this ends up being 3 pieces, so I can angle it out, and it'll just go in that slot, and to match the existing. So this piece here, I just want to clamp it in there. I'm just putting the half round on there just because it gives you a edge, and it matches the, I found it does a pretty good job of, I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Probably didn't show up real good being black, but you can see this is kind of the way this is done. You've got this flat piece, and then it's like this piece up here is a half round, and this piece is just glued in there. That's what it looks like. I mean, this is all molded one piece. So I'm trying to emulate the same thing here in multiple pieces. And it's pretty simple just to take and use the Plastrux. It's the best way to do this. And then, I just pull this piece out here and let this run down in there. And it'll go pretty quick. You know, and you can trim any irregular pieces up. So there's that piece glued in there, just that quick, and then that'll give you this piece here. I mean, even though that's already glued and set, you know, I got to pull this part away and glue it. And it's kind of a one of those deals you almost need 3 hands. And this stuff has a capillary action to it all of its own anyway, so it's pretty handy. And you know, the tweezers here kind of give me an extra set of hands, which kind of holds that up for me a little bit, and then I could just let this run down inside there like that, and then just that quick. That piece is glued to that piece. So now I've got 2 of these struts here, and like I said, if you need to trim stuff up, you know, pretty much do that any time. That little piece was just a little bit longer. And so now it's trimmed off, and then it's just a matter of taking this piece here and finding you know, a weight or something. That's what I'm going to use on here, just to hold this up. If you can see, this is going to hold this up for me. Find a little better weight. That'll hold that piece in position for me there. That'll give me, hopefully that's showing up. Hard to see that far away, I guess. Hopefully you guys can zoom this in. And then I'm just going to kind of guesstimate on this next piece. There's no precise measurement. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball these pieces where I can take and set this piece in here. This is one of those deals you're kind of going to have to work quick, and it works pretty good to, you know, just so you can take this back apart if you need to real quick, is kind of just put a little bit on one end. This will be the piece you use to tack it, and naturally I'm having butterfingers here. Pieces are awfully hard to hang on to. I'm probably going to have to re-wet that. That's probably already set up. Yeah, I'm probably going to need to re-wet that a little bit. Got an idea where to put that on here. So there's that piece there. And then before that sets up really hard, I will just use this piece here to match that slope, to match that angle. And that's going to give me the angle I need out. Matches up really good there. I'm liking that. And then I can just take and tack it the rest of the way. And So there's that piece. And this piece is just eyeballed in there, like I said. That, so that's one way around if you got broken parts on your locomotive, especially if they're something you can do with styrene. Really doesn't take that long to whip these out. You just kind of look at the pieces and then you just, manufacture it to emulate the existing. And now you can see how that piece is, hopefully that's showing up pretty good, how that is angled out with your top piece here flat against the locomotive. Because that surface has to be flat. And then this has to angle out. So it isn't like you can cut this all one piece and ever get that to glue on your locomotive correctly. It'd be really difficult. So you can see each piece has that same looking angle to it. Just like that. So hopefully if you're looking to repair some stuff on your locomotive or buildings or whatever, I mean, this Plastra or evergreen polystyrene plastic and your plastic weld is a good product to use for that. And once this all dries up real good, and I'll do a little sanding, it's going to look just like the original. Another use for these I thought I'd point out, because I thought about doing this myself, is you can customize your existing locomotives. I've already thought about adding some visors to some of my Alcos just to give them a custom look. I mean, the only challenge would be to, try to find a matching paint, but it's not too difficult with a lot of these craft paints. You can find something pretty close. If nothing else, you can mix colors and blend your own, and you can get really close. And if you want a little bit different finish to it, say rather than a flat, that's the only problem with some of these is going to be a flat. You can always hit this later with some a clear finish of some kind, like satin or something that you want to kind of get a little bit more of a sheen on it if the flat isn't matching the existing sheen of the locomotive. So just another thought I thought I'd point out because I've thought about doing this myself. So probably not a bad idea to make some extras while you're at it, while you got the stuff out. Okay, here's a before picture before I put the visors on. And I found this glue here I'm going to try. It's my local hobby shop called Bob Smith Industries. It's a super thin 1 to 3 second Instacure cyanide acrylate. So it is CA glue. So I'm going to give this a try and see. 1 to 3 seconds, pretty quick. So this is something that you really kind of like the plastic weld, just something you have to hold in place. It does have a capillary action to it, kind of like your plastic weld. And it's something you want to make sure you don't have your fingers in the way. What I like about it, you can kind of hold this in place with something and put a little drop in there. It'll glue real quick, and you can use something to hold down. So you can glue just like one end of it. Okay, here's the after pictures. It turned out really well. This was something that I had to paint the whole roof and everything. So I masked off this entire locomotive and took a chance and, masked it off here and shot it from each, side to side here across the roof. And then painted the new visors that I made. I mask everything off here. And one of the problems taking a chance of doing that is trying to match the original paint and the original luster. And, I think it came out pretty well, better than I was hoping. So, it's taking a chance of doing that sometimes. This was a used locomotive I'd bought. It was in need of a little bit of a TLC, and it was missing a visor. This is also a locomotive I was talking about that throws off traction tires like it's an Olympic event. But now that I put the bullfrog snot on, I'm going to try it out here a little bit. I think it's going to do much better now. This would throw all 4 traction tires off all the time, and it was really annoying. But so I've done several things to this locomotive. Finally got around to getting the new visor put on. It's amazing the transformation that makes on this locomotive. It's hard to believe just a little detail like that. It looked like it was missing its ears, and now it's got its ears back. And I wanted to show you real quick how I found another use for the Gorilla Putty. It's amazing how many uses I find for this. And this part's so small, it wasn't something that I wanted to try to take a chance of holding with my fingers and getting them glued in place. So I took a little bit of the Gorilla Putty here. It's just called Gorilla Mounting Putty. And it worked out real good to use it to make a clamp to hold this in place, and to also dam this for me. It made a good dam because this glue has a wick, a capillary action. It'll wick in there. It's kind of handy that I can put just a little small drop though in there, and it will tack it in just one spot. And this is glue dries so fast that it says 1 to 3, and I think it's like 1/10 of a second. So it's something that you're going to want this in position before you apply any glue and have it up to the surface that you're gluing it to, held in place, because you're not going to get a second chance on this. And I was surprised how well the adhesion is on this glue. I took a chance. I didn't even bother scraping the paint off and just glued it to the painted surface. And just those 2 little spots, it glued it pretty solid. I did try to make sure I got some glue across here to hold that. Probably didn't need to, just gluing enough on each end. That held that on there really strong. But, this mounting putty, I'm finding more uses. It also makes a very good, it does make a very good item to use if you're wanting to do your coupler repair, especially on the couplers that have the plastic, whatever that's called. I can't think of the name of it that holds it to the coupler body. If they're plastic, and you can put that mounting putty behind the tack, and it does a really good job of bringing it back to the original, where it will hold this up on the end but still allow you to use your coupler on your coupling tracks. So it actually puts it back to the original, what the original was supposed to be, by putting that back underneath there. So, and it doesn't take very much of it, just takes a little piece. And this, like I say, this putty is gosh, over 8 months old. I don't think it's ever going to get hard, so I don't know if there's any danger in that. So if it's something you want it to get hard, it's not going to do it. So you might want to use it for something else. But if it's something you want to count on that won't get hardened up over time, only time will tell, I guess. But this came out real good. This paint surface here, what I used is the Rust-Oleum. It's called Canyon Black, Satin Canyon Black. You know, that would probably be a good finish if you were painting this locomotive completely new. Do a complete coverage on it rather than just painting an area of it. You know, the challenge is like I said, trying to match up not only the color but also the sheen. And it was a little bit too glossy to match the existing sheen. So, you know, I did have some Rust-Oleum clear satin that I used and went over the top of it. This is just clear. And it was too much sheen. It really didn't make any change. And then I, you know, went over it with the matte clear, and it looked like it was still going to be too much sheen for what I wanted, but it's something that you need to give it some time, depending on your temperature and your humidity, I suppose. It finally dried to the exact finish that I wanted, and it matched the existing sheen quite well. So, you know, I couldn't have having a better outcome on that than if I was really trying for it. So we got this locomotive whipped back in shape, and I think we're going to go over here and run on the layout just to see if we can throw some traction tires off. Okay, what I wanted to talk to you about on this, if you remember last week when I did an unboxing on the Seaboard in the Santa Fe caboose, this was the caboose I bought to run with this set. And when I got this, if you go back, you might have to go back and look at the unboxing video. I should have shot this before I did the new finish on this. This caboose was had a very high gloss sheen to it, where it almost looked like a showroom fresh automobile. It had such a glossy paint job on it, and it didn't match the locomotive. So what I did is I took this apart, and wasn't that hard to do, really. These porches come off in separate pieces, and it's pretty easy to remove the glass out of this, and then of course take it off the frame. And I just shut it down with the clear coat finish, and there's several of them I used doing these projects. This brand here is just Rust-Oleum satin clear. And then I tried that. It was still too glossy. And I went with this matte. Now this matte finish still has gloss sheen in it. But, you know, it does a fairly good job. Hopefully that shows up, of matching the existing sheen of these locomotives. So you can see there's just a little bit of a sheen now. Hopefully these pictures, shows that up well enough. And so now it matches more with the engines. And something else I thought I'd point out, you know, when I did the weathering on the MKT, I told you I used the acrylics. And for you guys interested in, you know, if you want to weather with your acrylics, they do give you a matte finish. As it is, but if you have trouble with applying the acrylics right over the initial or the original paint, a good way to do that and also preserve your lettering is to just take your shells, you know, you want to remove them from your frames, of course, and then and your glass, if needed be, you know, you may have to, if you can't get your glass out, you may need to mask it off or something. It's not that big of a deal to mask that off. with some masking tape. I know it takes a little bit of work, but if you can get the glass out, that's ideal. But the thing to do would be to shoot this down with a clear finish. And then what it's going to do, it's going to seal and preserve all the lettering where you don't have to worry about redoing that. And something I wanted to show you here, you know, this is Tester's Dull Coat. If you notice, those other cans were Rust-Oleum matte clear finish. You know, you get a big can of paint, or a big can of clear here for, I don't know, $7 and some odd cents. These run usually. And these, I guess just because these are in a hobby, this little 3-ounce can is $8.49 at a hobby store. So this is actually from Hobby Lobby. So they really zap it to you buying these hobby spray cans. Now this Tester's Dull Coat is made by Rust-Oleum. Same people that makes this matte finish. But I will tell you, there must be something special about this Dull Coat because it is absolutely dead flat. I mean, there's no sheen whatsoever. So I will say that there is a difference. If you want absolutely no sheen, like what we have here on this locomotive, this is the way you want to go. I've heard that they've since come out with a large spray can of this stuff now. I'm not sure who makes it, if it's Rust-Oleum or somebody else, but they claimed that it's absolutely dead flat also. So good way to seal and preserve your engines, if you're going to do some weathering, is to hit these down with some type of a clear finish. A matte, you're going to want a matte finish as opposed to a gloss finish, just to get this acrylics, if you want to weather with acrylics, to stick better. It gives this surface some tack where your acrylics will attach to this without beating up and running off, because it is a water-based paint. And so it's a good way of ensuring that you're going to be able to apply your acrylics, which are going to give you a matte finish anyway, which adds to the weathering. And when you get done with it, it's not a bad idea to go over it again, spray it down one more time with your matte finish, and it's going to seal in all your acrylics that way too, if you want to seal it in. The problem with doing that is it's fairly permanent. So if it's something that you want to maybe take off later, you may not want to seal over the top of your acrylics. But there's different things you can do. It's not going to hurt to spray a clear finish over your acrylics when you're done. It's not like it's going to wrinkle up or peel up on you or anything. So it's a good way to seal this. But every time you put a coat of sealer on something like that, you can put another finish or something else over the top of it, and you can still seal over that. So it's not really a problem, I find, anyway, with the acrylics, if you want to go that way. But just one other way to rectify a situation that may be less than ideal. I could not believe how high gloss the sheen was on that caboose there. And it was just, the problem with having the high gloss sheen on there, especially on plastic, it just makes it look like plastic. As you can see, a dull finish on a plastic bodied locomotive gives you the appearance that that's really an actual metal surface rather than a plastic. So I find most of the locomotives and rolling stock that you buy tend to have more of a matte finish anyway. I know we can see a sheen on there. There's a lot more sheen actually showing up here on my camera than what I'm seeing by the naked eye. But that looks more like the finish I'm seeing here, what you see on the side here. So that's more of a flat finish. And you can see this caboose now matches better. It's unfortunate that I didn't do a before and after, because it would have really showed up this was really a high gloss finish on that. So I haven't really broke any rules here either, running this caboose ahead of the engines. That's just bringing it around to kind of do a comparison here. So don't be too hard on me for running my caboose ahead of my engine. So that's all I wanted to convey to you on this. If you're interested in doing any other of your own painting or weathering, some little tips and different products that are out there that you can use. This matte finish here that I bought is a good finish. I mean, you can see it did a pretty good job of matching the existing sheen that's on these locomotives. So I find this to be a good finish for existing models if you want to try to match the factory sheen that comes on these as opposed to a satin or high gloss finish. Well, one of the advantages to running your own railroad is you get a chance to do things that aren't supposed to be done, like doing an MU of a Alco C420 to an EMD SD9. You guys remember last week when I unboxed this new engine here? How many of you guys thought that was black and yellow? Raise your hand. Yeah, it looks almost like it's black until you put it up next to a black locomotive. But this engine here has got a single Polmore motor in it, and this has dual can motors in it. And you know, this model here, we're going to try it out. See, I got this one locked into forward, and even though you lock this one into forward, it always starts in neutral, so it's a little bit strange. You know, that's one of the problems with these electronic engines. You don't really have the reliability and flexibility to be able to lock these in a position and keeping them in there. So we're going to try this out, see how well it works, and give it a go, see what happens here. Yeah, we can get it to work. I think we'll just run old Blue too. Well, that's our show for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Until next time, you're watching Dale's Rails, and thanks for watching.